Hi, I'm Andrew Zilnick. I'm going to be talking to you about personal cybersecurity. So the reason I got into this idea for presentations and research was some personal experience with people getting their identity stolen. My mother-in-law, who is a 65-year-old retired teacher, fell victim to a phishing scam sent to her email, and she typed in her bank credentials, and she ended up not losing any money, but had to change her account and her passwords, and her bank was frozen for a few weeks, which for a retired teacher, was a hassle as well. So that's one generation. And then my younger 20-year-old cousin, digital native, also fell victim to a phishing scam and got her identity stolen and did lose money and had to go through and reset, and now has to do different steps whenever she had to get one of those notices from the IRS that her identity got stolen. So two different age gaps, both fell victim to phishing scams. And I'm something that's been around since the dawn of email, yet it's still happening. Even though technology has improved, everyone here I know has multi-factor authentication through the Duo app. So everyone here is familiar with it, but people are still getting attacked and still getting their identity stolen. Why is that happening? Because people still are the main reason of it. And one of the questions I asked, people ask me is, can you just make better passwords? Okay, this isn't going to go. All right, I'm going to try it on this side. So basically, you can go and you can create a password that it's not. And now it's, hold on, sorry. So where we go? Where we go? Sorry. So this website goes, you can actually type in a different password, and if you put in a long enough password, it will say centuries to crack. Most people still, the most common passwords that were used, again, were 1234566, admin, and password, and guest. Those are still the most common passwords, but you should be able to just go and put a longer one in. But unfortunately, that doesn't always fix all the problems. Let's see, so the Verizon data breach investigative report 2024 still found that most data breaches involve humans, people either on their personal level or potentially a data center user. I guess there's been a lot of the insurance companies, and I think it was Fannie Mae or one of them had their identity stolen, and millions of people's identity got out because of some kind of either human element or some kind of attack. But the most common one for the IBM's X-Force Threat Intelligence Index is still phishing. While that did fall from 46% to 25% over a 2-year span, it's actually just the amount of attacks due to stronger computers and more artificial intelligence enabled attacks. The actual volume of phishing didn't really drop much, just the percentage did. So again, even though technology is improving both for defense, it's also improving for attacks as well. And the Verizon did a study. They have been doing studies for a while. They'll send out a phishing simulation to their users. And as you can see here, over time, the amount of users that would click on it and fall for it, and this number is the ones that did not click on it but reported. You can see that it's rising, which also shows that while people are becoming more aware of what a phishing attack might look like, it's also getting better because more people are falling for it at the same time. So awareness is rising for some, but some people that aren't increasing their awareness and what to look for are falling for it because it's a better quality of phishing attack. So Pew Research has been doing research over the years of what a multi-factor authentication is, if people use it. In 2016, 52% of users said they used it. You see that there's a skew for older people not using it, and more. They said it was more towards professionals that would have to use it for their work or for their bank. So they were actually a little bit higher percentage of using it. Carrier Management is actually an insurance company, that publication, So they researched in 2025 and they said that 58% use it. And Pew found that in 23, only 48% could identify what a two-factor authentication looked like. So what does this mean? That over time, just because people are aware of it doesn't mean that they're using it anymore. Over a 10-year period, it didn't increase. Reasons why, when asked, it was either inconvenient, they forgot about it, or they didn't think that they were at risk because they're just Joe Schmo who doesn't have any money, and why would they want to get me? So, and this kind of behavior gap doesn't just apply on the personal level. The United Kingdom cybersecurity breach survey in 2024 interviewed firms. They interviewed large firms, which was 100 or more employees, unless they were a charity, and that was then put with the small firms of under 100 people. And the larger firms, they showed that they had a 75% multi-factor authentication adoption, while the smaller ones only had 35%. But as you can see here, they measured the amount of phishing attacks, impersonations, denial of service. Didn't matter if you were a larger firm or a small firm, the attack percentage was the same. So the attackers don't care if you're big or small. They'll go after you regardless. So your behavior is what keeps you safe, not the attackers. So let's see. So another thing that often gets looked at would be social media, which is not a bank, and it skews towards younger people. So this is a better idea of what users use it on all levels, or they just use it sometimes if they're forced to use it. And that the Cybercrime Support Network, they said that only 25% of the social media platforms required it. So if you wanted to use it, it was mostly a personal choice. Although the same report also said that about 2/3 were willing to use it. But Twitter, their 2001 transparency report only showed that 2% of users actually used it. And it's now, they recently changed to where now it's only going to be available for premium customers. So across industries, it's not necessarily becoming a standard. It's only a choice. So what do we need to change to make personal security better is we need to make it a easier, normalized behavior to where it just feels frictionless. Everyone uses it. It's not a hassle. You use either passkeys or auto multi-factor authentication. You need to be able to expand digital literacy beyond just people in this room that have come into contact with digital platforms to everyday users of why it is important. Local cyber workforce, both in the day-to-day use and prevention as well, would improve it. And then also find some way to collect the data for when they use it, if they're running into an issue of why they don't want to use it, so we can better design security for people to use every single day and not resist it. So I'd like to thank the cyber infrastructure professionals ecosystem and the Hawaii Data Science for this research. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, my name is McLean. I'm a graduate student in ICS for the University of Manoa, and I'm coming out of Hilo. Today I'll be talking about a project I've been working on, the social vulnerability and climate hazard effects on the islands. So, a bit of introduction to the project. We've been creating a geospatial visualization tool. So essentially, we're making a map of the islands and using geographical data to show different types of sets of data for social vulnerability and climate hazards. So social vulnerability is the parts of the community that will be most susceptible to different types of hazards that can be caused in a variety of different ways. Some of the different types of hazards that we're kind of looking at are flooding, sea level rises, landslides, different types of storms. And all of this is going to be presented together and showing what type of people in the community are the most susceptible to what types of hazards that appear. So there've come some of the things that we're kind of trying to answer and show for people to be able to see is what parts, where in the state needs support, depending on what type of hazards there are, who in the community is at risk of these hazards, and what can, based on different aspects, what kind of planning can be done for these hazards. So the data sources that we've been using, all of our data has been coming from Hawaiʻi GIS and the United States Census. So all of our data for climate hazards, as I previously said, like flooding, we can collect the data from the Hawaiʻi GIS and display them as visuals on the map. Other things that we've been collecting from Hawaiʻi GIS are some points of interest. So emergency services, bridges, the different hospitals, police stations, any of the services that may be able to help depending on if a hazard happens to occur and where they can get to. And then from the Census Bureau, what we've been getting is different indicators. So there's things like different types of people, ethnicity, genders, what kind of health insurance people have, and so on and so forth. And these are the people in the different parts of the map that will be able to tell who's in the most danger, depending on what's happening. So processing the data, we do have to do a little bit because the files are so large. We have different types of cleaning methods. We both have a QGIS method and a Python method. They both do the same thing, but different parts of our group have been using them together. In QGIS, we've been we can filter out the data, well, in both of them, we can filter out the data and simplify them. We are taking out different parts of the variables that don't matter, things that don't need to really be displayed in the view. And we've also been trying to simplify the shapes. So without losing precision of the look of the shapes for the hazard files and data, we shrink down the amount of vertices that are within the points, but don't actually lose any precision. So this is kind of a look at what we do for simplifying the data. As you can see, we in the top right of the corner of the box, of a map box, we can kind of see the simplification method, simplifying by distance and map units. This is the easiest method to keep all of the type of data that we want without actually causing any harm to the shapes of the data. This is kind of a look of what we have right now. This is the kind of layout that we are using for a visual. We can generate several types of maps, clicking on the different types of, and then on each of the different maps, we can display different types of vulnerability metrics. So as you can see, right now there's like no internet, households with no computers, households total limited to like English speaking. So there's a bunch of different types of metrics that we have listed right now, and that can be shown concurrently. This is kind of a look at what I've been doing in particular is creating the different types of shapefiles and displaying them onto the map. And you can see what type of variables each of those different sections have. So we have a lot to work on for this. It's still in development. We're still adding in more types of data, so more hazards, more variety of interests and vulnerabilities. We're still kind of optimizing the code to handle these larger and bigger data sets. And we're also adding in more features, so being able to take pictures of the scientists to be able to take pictures of different maps and being able to see a table view of the different types of data and some other additional features that will be coming in the future. So I just want to thank the different groups. I do want to give a special thanks to our social scientists, the GIS workers, and the rest of our development team for helping work on this project. Thank you.